doing is very lawful. What they're doing is not lawful. And what the governor and the mayor, as an example, you could say of Portland, and you can say certainly of Chicago, it's not lawful what they're doing. They have to be very careful. In addition, 2 weeks ago, radical left terrorists in Dallas conducted a sniper attack on a local ICE facility, killing 2 people and leaving behind a note that read, "Hopefully this will give ICE agents some real terror." That's bad. This attack came the very same month that Charlie Kirk was assassinated by a far-left extremist who inscribed the words, "Hey fascist, catch," meaning catch the bullet, onto the bullet shelf itself. The epidemic of left-wing violence and Antifa-inspired terror has been escalating for nearly a decade. At universities, Antifa has organized riotous mobs to attack campus speakers. I see it all the time. And these are agitators, anarchists, and they're paid. And you'll find that out. You'll be finding it out very soon. You should see what we have on these people. These are bad people. These are people that want to destroy our country. We're not going to let it happen. They've used armed gangs to assault local police in cities nationwide, and they've attacked journalists reporting on their crimes. So the journalists that report on their crimes, don't worry, you're very safe. I hope that's not going to turn you around, but they have been very threatening to people, but we're going to be very threatening to them, far more threatening to them than they ever were with us, and that includes the people that fund them. Probably some of the people I know, some of the people I dine with, but if they do, they're in deep trouble. So we're going to be looking very strongly at the people that are funding these operations. When you see the signs, and they're all made out of a beautiful paper, beautiful, nice, stiff, very expensive paper, with beautiful wood handles, all the same color. They come from very expensive printing machines. These are not people that write out their signs in a basement that believe in something. These are paid anarchists. At least 3 of these courageous journalists have personally been victims of Antifa attacks. Andy Ngo has been repeatedly beaten by Antifa thugs for his work in crew. Andy is a very serious person, too, I have to tell you. I've been watching him for a long time. Is Andy here? That's what I thought. Hello, Andy. I thought that was you. You're looking better than you do out on those streets, huh? You look much better. It's nice to have you.
What's up, Berserker Patriots? Hope you guys are doing good.
Not that safe because you have them. You have to worry about that.
You missed some good stuff already, some good savage stuff.
Beaten by Antifa, and including one assault that left him with a brain hemorrhage. Only days ago, Nick Sortor was assaulted in Portland by a flag-burning mob, and we've made it 1-year penalty for inciting riots. We took the freedom of speech away because that's been through the courts, and the court said you have freedom of speech. But what has happened is when they burn a flag, it agitates and irritates crowds. I've never seen anything like it on both sides, and you end up with riots. So we're going on that basis. We're looking at it not from the freedom of speech, which I always felt strongly about, but never passed the courts. This is what they do, is they incite. When you burn an American flag, you incite tremendous violence. We have many examples of it, many examples of it, and it's actually down on tape, and you see things happen that just don't happen unless it's the flag that's burning. Very recently, Katie Davis Court was hit in the face with a flagpole in Portland by an Antifa radical, leaving her with a very blackened eye. So, Katie, thank you very much. And I'd like to also say that I watched Nick. Where's Nick? Is Nick here? Nick? Hi, Nick. That was a rough time you went through. I hope you got my little note. I wrote you a note.
I really appreciate that. It helped a lot. It's a difficult situation, very stressful, and your note helped a lot. I truly appreciate it.
I thought it was terrible, actually. I thought it was terrible. So we'll talk about it a little bit.
Yeah, it was.
Under the last administration, the Department of Justice targeted faithful
As far as
Catholics,
we're concerned, if you're not
Christians,
here in the streets doing this shit, you are Antifa.
Your
sympathy doesn't mean anything anymore.
They're extreme.
Your feelings don't mean
Because
anything
they believe
anymore.
in God. They're extreme because they go to a Catholic church, or evangelicals, who everybody was under the gun. Unless you are a really bad, sick person, then they left you alone. under the Trump administration, we're going after Antifa criminals, and all who fund and support their campaigns are in serious trouble. And we have a lot of records already, a lot of surprises, a lot of bad surprises. It's people that you would never think. I want to thank Attorney General Pam Bondi, who, by the way, yesterday was incredible in Congress. It was amazing, and she just did it from the heart and the brain, because she's very smart, in all fairness. But she did it from the heart, and she did it an incredible. Everybody was talking about it. She exposed some of these fake senators, these terrible senators, people like Blumenthal that had a phony war record for 20 years.
Hey, do me a favor.
What a hero he was.
Define the word fascism for me. Is fascist a bunch of people murdering people in the streets and shutting them down for speaking and assassinating them for speaking? Or is fascism following the law?
From that particular
See, you live in a reverse reality, so we don't care what you think anymore. And you're finding that out.
Ready to drop out of the election. And disgraceful. And then he looks at people like Pam and he starts criticizing her, and she's a patriot.
Yes, we support your definition of fascist.
You know, we have
yes. Your definition, absolutely, because you don't know what the definitions of words are.
He went to college and other things. It was, you know, frankly, not good. It was pretty bad, but it was nothing compared to Blumenthal. I mean, what Blumenthal did, he was for 20 years a hero.
You're right. Fascism, not following the law. That's what your side does. You don't follow the law. Our side, all of this is ruled by judges, even your Democrat judges, for us to do this.
But I thought that was incredible yesterday, as well as
since they're just
Secretary Christie.
Satire for a second. Let me say this. I just posted the video. Your liberal police chief in Chicago just came out and retracted. And said that the military and ICE has all rights to use full force on you people in the streets, and they will 100% back them from here on out. You've got no support now. Even the cops that were backing you have now turned on you. You're done. You're finished. They're going to back us 100%. They announced it today. See ya. And you're getting deemed terrorist as we speak.
Around the table,
yes, wood chippers.
And they're going to be talking journalists, almost all. And they're going to be talking, and we'll take some questions from the press at the end.
Hello,
okay, Pam,
how's
please.
everybody doing?
Thank you, President Trump. And as you made clear, Antifa is a domestic left-wing terrorist organization. We've seen them on video for years because they wanted to be seen and they got away with it. They beat journalists, they attack courthouses, they attack police stations, they dox and assault our law enforcement officers. The Biden administration let them commit these crimes with total impunity for years. So did Democrat leaders like Pritzker and Mayor Brandon Johnson. Last week, independent journalist Nick Sorter was arrested just for protecting himself against Antifa. I saw it online and I called Nick. I couldn't believe what happened.
Yes, I just did a full live naming all their leaders off for you. And the fact that they went on live TV right before they fled the country and admitted and said they were your organized leaders and they would continue to organize you. So yes, you do have leaders. And yes, I showed your websites on my last live 2 hours ago and pulled all that information up, so you can go there and check it out.
And for law and order agendas fuels their violence. We've seen more than 1,000% increase in attacks against our ICE agents since January 20th. Secretary Noem is out there fighting for you firsthand to keep our federal officers safe, to keep our federal buildings safe. And we're not going to have it anymore, these thugs. We saw what's happening in Portland and Chicago, and you saw what happened in Dallas. No longer. This is not activism. It's anarchy. We can't and we will not let masked terrorists burn our buildings, attack our law enforcement, and intimidate our communities. Under your leadership, President Trump, we're deploying the full might of the federal law enforcement to crack down on Antifa and other domestic terrorist organizations led by Stephen Miller. And Stephen, thank you for everything you're doing.
I'm hoping the next thing we hear is we get to start fertilizing the fields of wood chippers for pedophiles.
Marshals and ATF to protect ICE officers from Antifa and other radical left-wing violence. Director Patel has been going non-stop. He and Deputy Attorney General Blake.
So just so everybody knows, This is the 200th press briefing from this administration today. That's more briefings in one day than Biden did in his entire fucking 4 years. Think about that. That's fucking insane, bro. So listen, all you people can do is insult people in here. And it's wonderful because you scream free speech and then you tell me to shut the fuck up. I'm not allowed to speak. And then you tell me you're going to report me. And you say, how are you even allowed on YouTube? Free speech. You're screaming for it, right? You're screaming for that freedom of speech. But guess what? Terrorists don't get freedom of speech. You understand that, right? You're now in the league with the Taliban and ISIS. And once you get deemed as foreign terrorists, you will be in that league 100% in this country. So bank accounts, bye-bye. Travel, bye-bye. Fleeing the country, bye-bye. We're coming.
Americans will no longer tolerate their unhinged violence.
No longer.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Christine.
Well, thank you, Mr. President, and thank you for hosting today and focusing on Antifa and the terrorists.
This guy is not streaming from a converted van. We'll get right back to that, but I want to show you what I'm streaming from. I'm streaming from Patriot 101 is what the fuck I'm streaming from. I am streaming from my 1999 Chevy Silverado 5.3 liter Charlie Kirk Trump truck. That's what the fuck I'm streaming from. You freaking ding-dongs. I don't need to convert a van because I have that. We were talking about wood chippers in the comments just a minute ago. See, if I lived in fear of you like you say I do, my truck wouldn't look like this 24 hours a day everywhere I fucking go, even to liberal cities.
Funding mechanisms, and sir,
I make myself a target for you people.
Treasury Secretary for his work and getting to the bottom of these funding mechanisms and individuals who are perpetuating this violence on our American cities.
So listen, guys,
Yesterday and had the chance to
we've heard this specific one. We'll get right back to it, I promise. But for once, I'm going to say this because I don't say it very often. YouTube is wishy-washy when it comes to payments, so I've been embedding my Cash App tag into the descriptions and into the title, okay? We're trying to get it to where we can just get one more thing fixed on the truck, which is the shocks, and then we're going to be traveling around, and we're going to actually be covering this stuff, because if you don't know, today in Miami, the cops got ambushed. 2 cops were shot, okay? And they were in a standoff for 4 hours with some wacko that they've already had problems with in the past that ambushed them, put a fake car in the middle of the road, shot it up, shots fired were called in. Cops showed up, didn't know why there was a car in the middle of the road. When they got up to it, they noticed it was riddled with bullets, and the guy just started opening fire on them. So for 4 or 5 hours, the entire neighborhood was shut down. This guy was barricaded in the home, and they were exchanging fire for quite some time. Pretty sure the guy's dead now, because that's how it always ends. And that's all you guys get out of doing this anymore. But yeah, that's the thing that happened in liberal Miami, Florida today. There was another shootout in Orlando yesterday that nobody's heard about yet. So we're covering that in this evening's live as well. So we'll get back to this for a moment.
As ISIS, as Hezbollah, as Hamas, as all of
I work every day, you stupid fuck. Go look at my channel. I'm not begging for money. My subscribers willfully send me money because I work hard to do this. This is hours a day, every day. I've already gone live for 5 hours today.
So thank you for being here, for being so.
You don't know what working is like. You don't know what sitting here and combing through information and combing through software is like for hours and hours a day.
Because of what you've done today. So with that, God bless you, and thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Cash, please.
Thank you, Mr. President.
This is what
Mr.
we got from
President,
Cash
the
Patel.
American people gave you a sweeping mandate in your victory in this election cycle, and they demanded safety and security for our citizens. And your administration, with your leadership, has provided us with the resources that
That's
we
a
need.
shitty camera view that they're using on this live, isn't it?
To go after criminals absolutely everywhere, not just outside of this country, but within this country. And that takes a whole...
Oh, did you not see the big videos that were released about the Epstein files today? So you don't pay attention to nothing. Today, Cash Patel went on live TV in one of the 200 briefings that happened and fucking released tons and tons of Epstein videos and fucking went on a fiery tirade about it.
the money. Money never lies. And that's what it's going to take to bring down this network of organized criminal thugs, gangbangers, and yes, domestic terrorists, because that's what they are. They are harming everyday citizens in every single one of our communities. And the folks you see here on the right and left, they're some of the bravest men and women we have today. They're reporting the stories live time because the mainstream media won't cover it. They're putting their lives on the line. They're standing up for the flag. The least we can do is stand up for them. So you have my thanks. I read more of your stories than I do theirs because you guys are putting out the truth. And
Absolutely.
we deserve a country where you are protected as equally as they are. We in this FBI will go after.
So let me just point out to you in my comments on my channel, talking shit, saying I'm a fucking loser. But you know what? You're on every one of my videos for me being such a fucking loser, bro. Every one of my videos. I can count on my trolls being there every single time on all of my social media and all of my channels. I can always count on you. And I will continue to shoot you with the truth, because that's what the truth is to you. It's a fucking bullet that goes right through the middle of your brain pan and you don't know how to handle it. To you, words are violence, so we'll keep using words. But the moment you use physical action against us, then we'll show you what true violence is. That's the difference between us. We don't have to come after you. You'll come after me every single time, no matter what. I see a bunch of you in there right now that said you were never going to get on my channel again. And last night, a bunch of you popped back up that were never going to get back on my channel again. So let's see what the administration's talking about so you can hear it from the horse's mouth.
By the Constitution, because the American people deserve law and order, and that's what we're going to give you.
Thank you very much, Cash. Great job. Maybe we'll start over here. Would any of you like to say something?
But you won't
Feel
debate
free.
me, pussy.
You can say it in front of me.
You just say you're the masturbator is probably what you put there. But none of you will debate me. I beg you to debate me. I will let you go on my channel on my views and get views. You should look at all. There's at least 2,000 fucking leftists in my comments every live. That's 2,000 people that can get on your channel and give you views. Think about that. Just for the fact of that, sit through what you call hate speech, which is just truth, and you can't handle it, so you hate it and you call it hate speech. When you say we're destroying your democracy, you mean that, because you want this to be a communist piece of shit country where the government is your daddy and we pay for everything you do out of our tax dollars. No, it'll never work like that. You're not getting my fucking money that I bust my ass till my hands are scarred and bleeding so you can live comfortably. It's just not going to happen ever in America, ever. Just so you understand. None of your sexualized bullshit is ever going to be a thing. It's never going to be normalized. Everyone is going against you. Everyone is going against you, including your own Democrats now. You're done. You're finished. You did this dumb, really dumb. See, you know what Republicans would have done? We wouldn't have assassinated Charlie Kirk. We would have gotten together by the millions if we were like you, and we would have made one massive thing all in one shot and taken out everybody we needed to at the same time. You're stupid. You're not like, even though you've got thousands of people that are standing together that can make up strategy with each other, you still can't even come up with a strategy other than a movie like cartoon-esque, out of reality. Did you actually watch the story of this guy that took the bombs to the tent? What the fuck was that shit, bro? That's your kind of terrorism. That's insane. The dude took his finger off of the detonator to put his dick in his hand and pee on a tree. If I'm sitting there with 200 bombs and I'm surrounded by SWAT, bro, I'm going to piss in my pants, or I'm just going to let that shit hang and I'm going to pee on you, bro. Are you kidding me? 200 explosives could have achieved a lot, especially those types of explosives. Those are right out of the anarchist cookbook, like I said. Those are some pretty fucking heavy-duty booms there. If all 200 of them would have gone off at the same time, on top of the acetone that they use to make Molotov cocktails. Because they're not using gasoline for Molotov cocktails. They're using a mixture of gasoline and styrofoam, which is like napalm. So the more water you put on it, the bigger it gets. It doesn't go out. And then they're using acetone and butane, and they're putting it and stopping it up in the bottles. So when you catch it on fire and throw it, not only does it burn everything, but it goes boom, once the pressure gets too big, and it spreads a fireball all over the fucking place. So thank you, Donald Trump. We love you, sir. Let's go back to, see, that's where you get stupid. Oh, Clark Kent crybaby. I'm smiling and happy. I'm enjoying the fuck out of this, bro. I haven't been this entertained in fucking 4 years. This is the best. Listen, all of the news organizations are getting record fucking views because Daddy Trump's in office. Under Biden, nobody gave a fuck about you. They didn't try to follow you around and get news stories and shit like that. Nobody gave a damn. But when Trump's in office, every news station in the world, do you see how full these fucking press briefings are? 100 to 200 press briefings a day. That's the most transparency we've had in this government in my lifetime. Bro, are we getting all the answers we want to get as fast as we want to get them? No, because we live in America and we are a constitutional republic with democratic processes that allow us to go through the law the right way, where we get due process and checks and balances, put everything in order. That way there's no way to turn over what we do. You, on the other hand, change laws, and then everything gets thrown out in court in the long run for appeals. So what we do sticks, what you do doesn't. We're rubber. You're rubber, we're glue. Everything we do sticks. You know what I'm saying? I said that backwards, but you know what I'm getting to. Let's get back to what they're saying.
A terror organization and said we're going to bring the full weight of the federal government to bear.
Yes.
I talked to Katie Daviscourt in Portland the other day. She'd been assaulted all summer, and she said the same thing. They didn't seem quick to violence as soon as you made that designation. So they're thinking in their heads, they're worried. There's been 24 or so arrested in Portland. They don't want to go to federal prison. There's this video.
Of course they don't, but they're gonna.
Who's in the face of an ICE agent. He's in custody. Once you take the mask off, they're nothing. I was told by probably a dozen people not to tell you this.
Go to Mexico then.
Anyway, because it's relevant to what we're talking about. I'm living proof that you can recover from TDS.
Yes. I suggest you go to Mazatlan, Mexico. It's a wonderful place for people like you.
Years. This is one of the reasons I recovered from it. And by the way, it's much better to not have TDS. I'm happier. I'm healthier.
I told you.
I
told you guys, you don't have to be miserable. You don't have to hate yourselves. You can come and be with us and be happy and have friends and have things and have jobs and get houses and be able to afford your groceries. It's okay.
I'm not here to convince any of you that Antifa is a real thing, because if you have not come to that conclusion by now, you are never going to come to that conclusion because you don't want to see it. And you're going to go and you're going to say it's a bunch of right-wing conservative influencers who are here spinning a tale. I was one of you. I was a mainstream reporter in Seattle for 10 years. I was a TV reporter on the streets doing my job, and I was still assaulted by Antifa. So it's not about being conservative. It's about people who go there and show.
They're lower than they've been in 5 years. You're a liar. I just did a full systematic breakdown 2 days ago on how much it's dropped by. Everything's dropped by $1 or more. Everything. You're a liar. Eggs under Biden were $12. I'm paying $3.94 for eggs under Trump. Milk was $5 a gallon under Biden. I'm paying $1.78 in my town for a gallon of milk. Shut the fuck up. You're a liar.
This is what I care about. We have 3.5 years. Nothing is guaranteed, although I think if Democrats keep it up, we'll probably have Republican presidents for the next 3 decades. But nothing is guaranteed. And so what I want to see over the next 3.5 years is...
See, everyone in these chats that are writing lies, they can see it with their own eyes, where I actually put the statistics from the U.S. economic growth platform on a live, and they still say it's a fucking lie. That's why you know they don't live reality. They watch a movie and they think that's the kind of shit that happens. Have you seen their Antifa videos? They're a bunch of Joker videos from the Batman Begins fucking shit with their fucking faces in a green screen in the background. How fucking dumb and unoriginal is that, bro? Fuck, use something a little better than fucking a Batman scene. Which is, come on, bro. Use a Spartan scene if you're going to use something that was, realistic and actually happened in history. Instead, you're following ideas from fictional movies. But at least Bane was able to take out an entire fucking city in one fucking swoop. You know what I mean? One fell swoop, and release all the criminals. in the movie. You people just shoot yourselves, catch yourselves on fire, and put 200 bombs in a tent that accomplishes nothing except to getting you put in prison for the rest of your life. And you notice, since he got arrested, there hasn't been one news story about him. None. Nothing. Because he's a terrorist. And he doesn't get that right to have the news come in and cover it. That's why. But they did, if you missed the court proceedings for the Charlie Kirk assassination today, they did exactly what I told you they were going to do. They tried to extend it for another 60 to 90 days. That Miss Piggy looking fucking defense attorney that he's got. So they're saying that there's not enough evidence to convict him for assassinating Charlie Kirk and all kinds of crazy shit. So on October 30th is the next Charlie Kirk Assassin's Court date, and we will be covering the whole thing live. I was trying to go live during it, but YouTube kept doing some funky shit with my live videos, so it was like 2 megapixels. You couldn't see it, barely hear it. But on October 30th, we'll find out what's going to happen, because I have a feeling by the way this judge was talking, he's not going to play these fucking games where they try to extend this shit out for years. It seems like he's going to make a ruling on when the actual arraignment is going to be on October 30th. You know what I mean? Hold on, let me read. Biden did it. Biden's gas was $4 to $6.89. Trump's gas yesterday was $2. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I showed you last month, when Trump did all the tax cuts, we were paying $1.78 in my fucking town for gas, bro. $10 would get me a gallon and a half under Biden. It cost me $150 to fill up my old ass truck. It cost me $45 to fill up my truck now. You know, these are facts. See, they say lies because they're losers and they don't have cars. They don't pay insurance. They don't pay for their gas. Their mommy puts money on their fucking din-din card and then they go use it for whatever they want. You know what I mean? Mommy Apple pays them and then they pay all their bills. They don't pay bills. So they don't live in fucking reality. They don't know what we've gone through for the past 4 years. How hundreds of millions of people lost their homes in America under the Biden administration because the inflation rates on your mortgages skyrocketed and doubled the price of your fucking house. And then he crashed the housing market. So now you paid $250,000 for your house and it's only worth $140,000. So you're getting no money out of that fucking house now. And now the housing market has crashed and Blackstone and all these big corporate real estate companies are coming down here in Florida and buying up everything. They just spent $400 million on that resort that was $250 million in debt. And it'll never make anything in this town ever. Because only the, 250K is a 5-bedroom house in Florida. We don't price gouge people for houses like you do in the fucking city. You buy $1 million house in Florida and you've got a mansion on the motherfucking ocean, bro. You got a fucking 9-10 bedroom house on the ocean for $1 million in Florida. But our land is super expensive. This lot right here is $178,000, just the lot with nothing on it. So our land, and that's because it's on only one of 2 fresh water sources. That's a freshwater canal right there. I'll take you to my canal. So this is a freshwater canal. But yeah, houses in Florida, you can get about a 4.5 bedroom house, 2 bath for about $160,000, $178,000. You know, that's why people flee to Florida and then they get the fuck out of here because they realize you don't make money in Florida like you do up in the city. People aren't going to hire you the way they do up there, especially if you do shitty business practices and you don't have any morals. These people come from up north and they want a full upfront deposit for the entire job, and then they never show back up or they do crappy work and never come back. You know what I mean? So, but I work with a lot of real estate agents down here, as you've seen in my videos at work. I build houses. You know, this is my second job. I work for myself and build houses, subcontract. So I deal with a lot of permit inspectors and shit like that, doing drywall, concrete work. I build the foundations for the houses. I clear the properties and build the foundations. And then you saw the walls and shit I was building last week. So we were building walls in an old man's house to keep people out. just like our president's building walls on our border to keep people out. We got something in common. Look at that. Having a great day out here today, though. I finished up that big job yesterday. My customer, unfortunately, had a heart attack. The 91-year-old man, Bob, that I introduced everybody to on my live while I was working, unfortunately had a heart attack last night. So let's pray for him, make sure he's okay. Because he's 91 and he still lives with just him and his wife alone. They still drive, they still do everything for themselves. Nobody helps them out. Their kids are passed away, so it's just them. And if something happens to him, it's just her. So let's pray for him, make sure he's okay. And as soon as I can get a hold of him at the hospital, I'll go see if he's all right. And then once he's out of the hospital, I'll get paid for the job. You know, I'm not worried about that while he's all fucked up like that. But just pray for the guy. His name's Bob. Like I said, he's 91 years old. The sharpest 91-year-old man you'll ever meet in your fucking life. I've been doing work for him for about 28 years. I basically rebuilt his entire house. But a lot of people have taken advantage of him. One guy, he paid him $2,300. He came down from Minnesota and to seal the roofs on his trailers. He's got big toy haulers over there, the ones that I painted for him. They put duct tape on the fucking roof, took the $2,300 and never came back. How much of a piece of shit do you have to be to do that to a fucking 90-year-old man? You know what I mean? $2,300 to seal a roof on a camper like this. And then all they did was put duct tape on the fucking roof. It's just like this too, except mine's a little bigger, you know. And then all they did was put duct tape on the roof and took off on him. That's the kind of people we get down here from up north. We don't get the good people like you're hearing on the news. Some of them, we get some good people. But you got to understand, you're still just transplants, though. You're a transplant to our state. And you come here and you go to our county meetings and you try to make it just like the city you came from that you fled from. So even the ones that are supposed to be the good Trump supporters are still practicing Einstein's insanity, doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. And it's never a different result when it's communism. It's always the same result: death, the destruction of a country, the fall of an economy. You know what I mean? Nothing on this planet other than abortion in America has killed more people than communism. Remember that. Over 150 million dead from communist ideology. Let's hear a little more. Trump's back speaking. Let's see what he got to say, baby.
Powering on.
Thank you, subscribers, by the way. I love you guys. You're always down here fighting for me in the comments. Why didn't it turn back on? Sorry, I'm getting it back on right now. No, trans shooters have killed more people, not guns.
Back to the Weimar Republic in Germany. And it's now been
the last 25 shootings, an Antifa or trans Tifa aligned person.
Murder of Charlie Kirk. And we saw thousands upon thousands of people.
Jack's speaking at the White House today. Look at that. Jack Posobiec.
Positions of authority. People like nurses and pilots and doctors and HR departments.
We did an interview with him in 2016, if you remember.
And the murder of Charlie Kirk. This sickness that's out there is absolutely real. And Mr. President, thank you for mentioning the fact that one of the bullet casings read, "Hey fascist," catch on it. One of the other bullet casings right next to that had Bella Ciao written on it. Now, Bella Ciao is a song that is known in Antifa circles as the international anthem of Antifa. And all of us around the world, around this room that have studied Antifa, we're very familiar with these symbols. And Mr. President, I think the situation is getting worse. When you look at people like Luigi Maggioni in his 20s, Thomas Matthew Crooks, of course, who took a shot at you, sir, the ICE shooter in Dallas, and now this Tyler Robinson, we're starting to see a pattern of more and more murderous violence. And this same violence is not just random. It is targeted assassinations, which are getting worse. And every single one of us in this room that goes out there, and obviously you as well, sir, and all the staff, we are now under that threat every single day.
The funny thing about these trolls is, even though the majority agrees with me, they still think they're right. Even though the majority of the world agrees with this, they still think they're right. Do we need to go back and watch the newscast from earlier, where now the black chief of police in Chicago is saying, hey, guess what? You got to get the fuck out of here, Antifa. The federal government and the military can come in and beat the fuck out of you and use full force, is what he said. Wasn't that wonderful? Even the cops won't protect you anymore now in Chicago. You're done. Have you seen the streets of Chicago? They're all but cleaned up right now, man. These pussies are just doing this now. It's like the vagina just went and it stayed there. It don't do this no more. It just does this. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. We still love you. You're just stupid. You're terrorists. You know? It's like I've said. I'm going to say this again. I'm going to get a lot of hate for it. You don't exist anymore. Your words don't register in anybody's ears anymore. They're done. You're finished. Your communist ideology, your terrorist ideology, it's over. You had your little stint of fun with the Democrats, and now the Democrats are done. They're done. They're finished. They'll never be a thing again. Nothing. Who's out here talking about voting for Democrats right now? No Democrats are. No Democrats. You got AOC. You got ratchet fucking Crockett out there. You got fucking Gavin Newsom, who cleaned up his city for fucking communist China, but won't do it for his own citizens. You know what I mean? You got a bunch of communists that'll never win anything. You got a bunch of women. You got a bunch of women that'll run for president. Good luck. And Kamala Harris will run in 2028 again. I had to laugh so hard when I heard that. I needed that laugh the other day. I was having a pretty bad day when they announced Kamala Harris is going to run again in 2028. I was like, that's fucking hilarious. Trump's back on.
Washington, D.C., our capital. We thought we'd start there appropriately, and it's
you always see my face. Hold on. Hold on. You've seen my face. Let me show you my truck. I'm in Port Charlotte, Florida. My zip code is 33952. Since I'm much fear you people. Hold on. I'm a target for you. Man, I invite you. Look. There's my hood. You can't miss me. Look. Now you've seen my face. Look, there's my truck. You can't miss this motherfucker. You can forget my face, but you can't forget this, can you? There's my phone number. You want to harass me, you terrorist? There's my fucking phone number. That's my personal cell phone number, you pussy-ass motherfucking faggot. Come do something, you fucking terrorist. I'm a proud infidel. I'm a proud warrior of this fucking country. I'll fight you all fucking day. You want to fight somebody? You can fucking fight me. We'll have mutual combat and we won't get the law involved and there doesn't have to be any more violence after that. You don't have to kill the people in the streets in my community. Just come after me. Do you understand? I'll fucking fight you all fucking day, you fucking fat ass pussy, you slimy cunt little motherfucker. Yeah, I'm that guy. I'll be your motherfucking Huckleberry, bro. I have no filter. I have no off switch. My brain goes 24 hours a day. It could be 6 o'clock in the morning. It could be 4 o'clock in the morning. I'll beat the fuck out of you in the middle of the street, dude, in front of a cop. I don't care. There's no more tolerance. I've been tolerant. You've shot me 3 times. You've burnt my life to the fucking ground. You've threatened to blow up my fucking family and kill everybody I fucking love. You tell me you're coming for me in every one of my fucking lives. Well, fucking come for me. Do it again. You can't kill me. You've tried. God's not gonna let me die until I expel you demons from this fucking world. You understand? I don't fear you. I will gladly die in the name of Jesus Christ. I will get on my knees with a barrel in my fucking mouth and I will proclaim that Jesus Christ is the King and you cannot stop me from doing that. No matter what you do, no matter what you say to me, I'm going to smile. I'm going to be happy. And I'll give you a big hug. I'll beat the fuck out of you and give you a big hug afterwards. We'll go have a beer. How about that? How about we can have hostility without being violent? We can just fight about it. Like men in the fucking streets, like we're adults, like we used to do. Remember those days? Remember the days where we'd just get in a fight and you'd beat each other up and it'd be over with. You could agree to disagree. Hey, whether you win or lose, you still put in the effort. And if you kick my ass, guess what? I'll get back up again and we'll do it again. Get that. You know what I mean? Get that. I got a boxing club we can go to right now and sign a waiver. I got a jiu-jitsu club right up the road we can go to. We can sign a waiver. You know, there doesn't have to be any law involved. No trouble. No terrorism. Just good old combat, man. You know? And there's nothing violent about that. Violence of action is a necessary thing for a man in any world. It is human nature to combat with each other as males. Do you understand this? Combat is an everyday natural law of nature that we used to know that. And you know what? We didn't have kids that were so pent up in their mind that they couldn't handle fucking words. That's what we need, is for some kids to just beat the fuck out of each other every once in a while. Then you don't have to pull knives and guns and fucking kill people and blow people up in the streets, because you just got a whole bunch of energy out of your body. And when you go into that fight or flight state over and over and over again in your lifetime, that releases testosterone from your nutsack, and you actually turn into men. You start growing beards, you know, and you go to work, and then you start looking into world wars, and then you're an early onset Republican. That's what happens when you grow up. Most people are Democrats when they're teenagers, and they grow up and they become Republicans because they realize the reality of the world. That's just everybody. I voted for Obama, motherfucker. You know, I campaigned for Obama in motherfucking St. Louis, Michigan. And then I realized, holy fuck, what have I done? You know what I mean? And I switched my political affiliations right then and there in 2008. And I did not vote for a second term of Obama after he killed fucking 2 American citizens in a drone strike. And one thing I can't agree with Obama on, though. I can actually agree with Obama on one thing. He was the deporter in chief. He deported over 12 million criminal aliens out of our country and revoked all their visas. And you're bitching about Trump not even deporting 1 million yet. Come on, man. Can you make up your mind? Are you a hypocrite or not? You know, because the Democrats deport people too. It's not just the fucking Republicans, it's the law. It's what you do. When people break into your country, you get rid of them. You deport them. That's their due process under the law. You deport them. Stop confusing the habeas process with due process. Let's watch some more Trump. I've given my little rant. I gotta comment sometimes.
It's a nationwide issue, and that's one of the reasons why you got elected back into office, because thankfully the American people said we're not going to deal with it anymore. But unfortunately, there's a lot of people, as we've seen, who are willing to take to the streets to do violence. And that's a scary thing, because typically when I was in 2020, I was covering.
All you gotta know, I pinned you.
Los Angeles,
I pinned you,
Seattle,
so we can keep in contact here. None your business. I pinned you. So all you gotta do, you know, you can reverse the live, right? You can back it up. Port Charlotte, Florida 33952. And don't think I won't know who you are by the end of the day. So. And don't think you didn't just tell the United States government that you're going to send people after me to get me. You just said, you know what, you got a few friends near me, and you're going to send them after me. Don't think that the United States government didn't just get all authority to keep a track and an eye on all social media to look for comments like that. Understand, that's what they're doing. They're coming through everything on the internet right now, and every single terrorist comment is going to get prosecuted. That's what these people don't understand about the Insurrection Act. That's what these people don't understand. There is no empathy. We have no empathy for you whatsoever. None. No mercy, no tolerance, nothing. We are a block of fucking ice in our heart for you is what we are. You murdered Charlie Kirk, bro. There's nothing you could ever say to redeem yourself to us. Nothing. Not only did you murder Charlie Kirk, but you gleefully went in the streets and bragged about it and said you're going to murder the rest of us. You actually said, because we voted for Donald Trump, we all have to die. And the millions of you back that up in comments and in videos. So, oh, but that's not us. No, it is you. It is you. When you're at these rallies and these Antifa people are screaming their bullshit ideology and they're fucking espousing, we are Antifa, we are organized. It wasn't them that surrounded me with metal poles last weekend. It was you regular Democrats and you old people surrounding me with metal poles. And in the moment I fought back and I drew, and I wasn't using metal poles, you called the cops and said, I tried to kill you. And what happened when Republican cops came? They laughed and they told me how much they loved what my truck looked like. And they said, hey, you didn't do nothing wrong. That's what we have these new laws in Florida for. And what did people do? 1,800 of you all left the rally at the same fucking time because 1,800 of you couldn't stop one of me. I want you to think about that. 1,800 of you vaginas couldn't stop one of me with nuts between my legs. Do you get that? So, okay, now what's in the streets of Chicago right now when you go through these videos, and they're live from today? Old people that did the same thing in Vietnam and got out and they're getting out and singing Kumbaya on the fucking sidewalks, bro. You guys have already been pushed back in the cities. You're done. You know, you can sit here and I know it's going to take a while. you're gonna live in denial for a little bit. We get that, but it's gonna sink in real quick when you're sitting in a black cell in a federal facility and you get hauled off in a black vehicle that has windows so tinted that the news cameras can't see in and nobody can find out where you went because it's a closed-off federal facility. The reality will set in then. The reality that you shouldn't have killed and murdered people will set in then. It's sad that the reality that you back these people that are literally murdering people in the streets, ambushing ICE officers. Verbatim what your black police chief said earlier today. If you surround federal agents with your vehicles and block them in, they have to assume you are ambushing them to kill them, and they must use full force, anything they feel is necessary. That's the guy that was just backing you not fucking 2 days ago. That's the guy that told his officers to stand down and not come to you. There was such a backlash from that, from the American people, they have now turned on you. You don't have the cops to help you anymore. It's just us. He even said, stop telling us to arrest federal agents. They have the authority to arrest us. We don't have the authority to arrest them. Everything you're espousing is false, and now your own side is telling you. Love you.
Antifa militants, I lasted for about a month. They believe that ICE agents are the Nazi Gestapo who need to be killed. They told me that directly, and I think that if this situation is not taken as seriously as it is, it's just a matter of time before someone gets killed. And thank you for having me.
Thank you, Katie. That's pretty incredible. The only question nobody can answer is why. Why are they doing this? They're like insurrectionists.
They don't know why they're doing it. They're stupid.
Really wonder why. Why are they doing it? What are they?
They can never give you a reason why they're out there when they're out there ever. A lot of money. They just get violent.
Mr. President, if I can answer that question, the reason why they're doing it is because the same media that's sitting in this room with us has declared all of us at this table Nazis and fascists, and they've been doing this for years.
Yep.
This is why Antifa feels emboldened to attack us. Now, almost every single person at this table has been threatened with a steel bat. We've been assaulted, we've been harassed, we've been threatened, and that is in huge part due to the media.
They don't believe it when she says it either. They don't believe it when I say it, even though I can show them all the pictures and videos of what happened to me. They don't believe it, even though I was in the front page of the paper 19 times. I've been on ABC News many times. They still don't believe it, even when their own liberal news espouses it. So at this point, it's getting difficult to even cover the news about these fucking people. You know what I mean? It's just getting ridiculous. That, I mean, even us, when we're wrong, at least we can admit it and we can make a retraction video. You know what I mean? But they'll just continue to sit here and live in the same fucking lie, knowing that they're lying. They'll tell you they're lying and not even care. They'll look you right in the face, see a crime happening and say, no, he didn't just do that. Like, you literally just watched him do it. No, that guy did it. That's what they do. That's the kind of shit they do. My biological mother was like that. She would fucking stab a motherfucker, bro, and the cops could watch her stab a dude, and she would literally convince the cops somehow that she did nothing wrong when she did it right in front of them. Like, how the fuck does this bitch do this shit? You know what I mean? How? Man, my family did some crazy shit, and I'm like, how the fuck do y'all get away with that stuff? You know, y'all are the same kind of people. It's crazy, you know? It's like, you'll stab somebody in front of somebody and say, I didn't do that. Your eyes are lying to you. What I say is the truth. My feelings say I didn't do it, therefore it didn't happen. My feelings say this is what the law is, and that's literally what your black Chicago chief police said. He said, your feelings don't dictate our laws. He said, it's not the law what you're going under, it's the law what they're going under. So, I mean, what are you going to do now that you don't have the backing of your sheriffs and the federal agencies? Use whatever force they want to on you. What are you going to do? Honestly, what the fuck are you going to do? We want to know. What are you going to do? Nothing. That's what you're going to do. Nothing. You're going to poop in your diaper and change your shirt. That's what you're going to do. Let's see what the politicians are saying, guys. God, I love being able to offend you fucking pussies. It's so easy, too. I can just sit here and smile on the camera, and my trolls would just talk shit and say I'm lying about smiling.
Citizens that has led us to this place. So truly, to the Americans that I speak to on the ground, they feel completely abandoned.
You burnt my RV down, you piece of shit. I can't go back to it.
So please step in. We have Americans begging for the National Guard. And to the media over here, please report on the truth. Please do your jobs. I'm an American citizen. Everybody at this table simply views ourselves as American citizens who have an iPhone and the will to actually tell the truth. So please take your job seriously and tell the truth to the American people.
You tell them, honey.
And thank you for letting me be here on behalf of Charlie to continue his legacy of cleaning up the country. Thank you, Mr. President.
Absolutely. Thank you, honey.
Appreciate it. Wow, you feel very strongly, I can see.
I'm mad. I got beat up so many times, Mr. President. My friends have gotten beaten up, and I want to cry right now from happiness because we have been completely ignored for so long. For almost 10 years, we've been getting assaulted on the streets. I have watched children cry as their parents have been attacked on the streets. That should not be happening at our nation's capital. So please, again, the DOJ, please utilize the full force and go after each and every single one of these people.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. Great job. Impassioned. That's important because you should feel like that. Please go ahead.
Mr. President, thank you for having us here and bringing together this panel of brave journalists, everybody on this side of the room. And no one can speak to the violence better than these people here. So I think we know that this is not just a story about violence and chaos, as you alluded to, Mr. President. This is a money story. And at the Government Accountability Institute, my colleague and I, Peter Schweitzer and our team, we followed the money, and we followed it to the top of what we call the protest industrial complex, Riot Inc. And we found a network of NGOs. It's not just the Soros network.
Wait, do you hear this?
Network.
Chinese Communist Party backing Antifa.
Network, the Tides funding network.
Let's see if this is what they're all talking about.
Singham and his network, Foreign Cash. And it's also big left-wing funders. Some of them are not citizens of this country. Mr. Hans-Jörg Wyss of Switzerland. They're pouring money into this entire ecosystem. And so I want to share 3 money facts with you about what we call Riot Inc. Number one, like any corporation, Riot Inc. has many divisions. It doesn't just have the Antifa boots on the ground division. It has PR divisions. It has marketing divisions. It has a very well-funded legal division to get these boots on the ground back on the streets.
The boots on the ground are the direct action red shirts, is what they call them.
That I mentioned. Number two, we have identified dozens of radical organizations, not just the decentralized Antifa organizations, but dozens of radical organizations that have received more than $100 million from the Riot Inc. investors. These would be the lawyer groups. These would be the groups that advocate for calling good, honest Americans fascists.
I wish we could get paid for doing this shit.
And then 3, I think the most shocking thing is that we have found that more than $100 million in U.S. taxpayer funding has flowed into these funding networks, including at least $4 million to these very groups themselves, not just Antifa types, but there was an event in Atlanta called Stop Cop City. Over 60
You can't come for my job. I own my company, you stupid fuck.
These groups received
what am I, gonna fire myself?
From both the billionaire class as well as taxpayer money. So one other thing, this money helps fund the decentralized crowdfunding
terrorists when you say stuff like that, and you don't actually care about the Constitution.
The John Brown Gun Club of Elm Fork, which had links to that attack on the ICE facility, the Socialist Rifle Association, and just because they don't have LLCs or EIN numbers doesn't mean they can't get paid. Some of these funding platforms, crowdfunding platforms, are funded by this network that we call Riot Inc. So again, I want to thank you for your leadership, for the whole cabinet's leadership on this. We're going to keep following the money and appreciate everything you're doing, sir.
Do you know the name of any of the funders? Do you know the names?
I love my president.
I'd like you to give
fucking love my president.
Absolutely.
Well, Christy.
Yeah, we'll do that.
As soon as you can. That's all of you. Because you probably know the names after a certain period of time. You tend to find out. But these are people that do not have good intention for the country. And that's treasonous, probably. So if you could, very important, if you could do that, it would be great. Nobody would know better than you. You'll figure it out. Thank you. Please go ahead.
Yeah, my name's Nick Shirley. I'm 23 years old. I'm a 100% independent YouTube journalist. And over the past year or so, I've been able to go to 15 countries. I've hung out with people in the gangs in Brazil, in the favelas,
what's up, buddy?
in the prisons of Sekai. But yet the most dangerous places I have been here in the United States, unfortunately. And I've had the opportunity to show people about the protest Antifa here in the United States, and there's nothing organic about what they are doing here in the United States. I've watched people be bussed in.
This kid's been down in Portland for the past week, just so you know.
Atlanta, be bussed to protest in DC, and then in New York City.
Or New York, I'm sorry.
There's
New York.
nothing that is honest about what they are doing. And they have signs. I've seen the same signs here in DC and in London as well. It's a big organization and corporation that they're running. And people may wonder, like, what's the threat to us as Americans if we go? Well, you'll be labeled as a fascist, you'll be labeled as a Nazi, and they'll wish death upon you because they wish death upon me. And just last week in Portland, Oregon, I watched a lady get trapped in her car, surrounded by Antifa. And her sister messaged me after seeing the video. She said, the only reason I think my sister was safe is because you were there recording. I also was chased out by a member of Antifa who said he would smoke me. And next thing he knew, a DHS sniper had lasers on his chest.
Yes.
If he was not there, who knows what would have happened that day. These people are very dangerous, and people wonder how they're able to do it. It's the reason is because these cities are not enforcing the law. And why should these people be worried if the law is not being enforced? And we are not far right, nor are we far wrong. We're just right. And the truth about what's happening here in America with these groups is very dangerous. And I thank you, Mr. President, and your administration as well for acknowledging that.
Thank you very much. It's too bad you have to go through it.
I know, it's so crazy, right, Mr. President?
Well, you're going to get to the bottom of it, so it's a very important thing you're doing. Thank you very much. Please, Ken.
Yeah, I've just got something very short. I'm attacked every time I do my job. When I leave my house to go to work, I am violently assaulted. I've had guns pulled on me. I've been bear sprayed. I've been beaten down. I've been almost killed. So my question for all of you is, how would you feel if every time you showed up to work, masked militants tried to kill you? Because that's how we feel. That's our lived reality. And you guys go and tell us that we're liars, the riots aren't that bad, right? I've never seen any of you guys on the ground. In fact, I've never seen anybody representing the companies you work for on the ground. You guys come to us for interviews that never get published. Stop saying we're lying. We're not. We risk our lives every day to do the job that you guys are too afraid to do.
What network would you say is the worst, if I could ask?
Oh, man, yes.
I mean,
I love my president,
it's a simple question.
There's a lot of people in this pool, and I would say I'm not talking about Fox. I'm not talking about Newsmax or any outlet that resembles them. So I'll let you guys put the pieces together on who I'm exactly talking about.
Say, which network?
MSNBC for sure.
They're terrible. I agree. That's
CNN. See it close. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd rate it that way. Yeah, MSNBC. That's Brian Roberts. That he allows it to happen is a disgrace. CNN is second.
Yeah,
I would say CNN is not quite as bad as MS.
MSNBC is not really a news site anymore.
Oh, MSNBC is sick. They're sick.
Well, sir, it's also just the stories that they publish about what's the ICE enforcement operations that are so heavily slanted that it's no longer, as I was saying, no longer just Antifa, but Americans that are becoming radicalized. So they've been very irresponsible with how they've been reporting.
Who was that?
MSNBC, for example,
would you rate them the worst?
Probably. They
who
ran a
would you
story.
rate second?
Well, they ran a story about an operation in Southern California about how a father of 3 Marines was arrested, and they made it seem like they just did it because he's brown. But there's video of that same man charging at the agents with a weed whacker. Now, I've worked with weed whackers back in the day, and you don't want to be in the receiving end of one of those. So that's why he was arrested. But the story was presented as if it's a brown guy just simply being arrested. And I've been around ICE agents, and I'm a citizen, so I feel fine. But it's just that's why. It's not just Antifa. It's not happening in a vacuum. It's
working in conjunction. I think they work in conjunction with some of the media. I think ABC is very bad. I think NBC is very bad. And CBS has a new owner. So we have hope for CBS. CBS has a great new owner, in my opinion. But as I will tell you, ABC is terrible. NBC is terrible. NBC's MSNBC too. They changed it. They moved it over legally so they couldn't be tainted by the words MSNBC. But they are absolutely terrible. There are a lot of them. What about independents? Independent networks.
They're a little bit better, but I would say that we're an example of how you don't need to be part of a super large company to be able to do just basic journalism. All you got to do is sit and record, and you'll let the story play out. And that's why they hate us. That's why
I watched a level of dishonesty that's incredible, where answers are changed. Like just before the election, an answer was changed by Kamala. She gave a horrible, death-defying, election-defying answer. And they took the answer out and they replaced it with another answer that she gave 5 minutes later. having to do with a different subject, but at least it wasn't election defying. And the level of dishonesty with the media is incredible, whether it's on Antifa or many of the other groups. You know, you're talking about Antifa, and I know that's close to your heart because that's the one that's most affecting you. But there are others that are as bad or almost as bad as Antifa, having to do with different people, different sections of the world.
And they're in this executive order, by the way. It's not just Antifa, it's all these leftist groups, just so you all know.
Not all of them, but some of the networks out there. And you do wonder why. You really do. Okay, please. Go ahead. Yeah.
Mr. President, thank you again.
Thank you.
My name is Jonathan Cho. I am an investigative reporter for Frontlines Turning Point USA. I'm also a senior fellow at Discovery Institute in Seattle. And I cover far left extremism as well as the homeless drug crisis in America. And I find it oftentimes those worlds intersect. And hot off the presses, what I wanted to bring to your attention today is a report from a Capital Research Center here in DC in conjunction with Discovery Institute. They just put out this study right now. And what it shows is that Antifa is heavily embedded in the homeless and housing nonprofit sector. In many cases, the homeless industrial complex is running cover for Antifa. Antifa is benefiting from American tax dollars, and they're essentially being used as the muscle. Let me give you an example. There's a group called Stop the Sweeps in many U.S. cities right now. They get in front of encampment sweeps. What they're doing quietly is they're bringing in Antifa militants to manufacture a crisis to make the police look bad. Another group right now that is behind Antifa and working with Antifa very closely, based on the research that we have right now that we're going to give to you and your team, are the Democratic Socialists of America, also known as DSA.
I literally just broke this story on y'all 2 days ago, remember? I pulled up all the information on all the websites of the Democratic parties around Southwest Florida and showed you that they had Antifa symbolization on their websites and that they were organizing these No Kings rallies in all of our small towns now. They put out a statement on the Democrat headquarters about 2 months ago that they were going to start moving into all the small towns now. Okay, because all these federal agents are in the cities. So be prepared. As they're moving out of these cities, doing these things, they're coming to these smaller towns. Just understand, this isn't the city, and the cops aren't going to be there for a while. They'll let us deal with things before they get there, just so you understand. Florida's a lot different than what y'all are used to protesting in. So if you're coming down to these small redneck towns, like our town, we don't have police. We only have a sheriff's department. Okay, that's it. We have a sheriff's department. We only have 168 fucking sheriffs in our town. It takes 5 to 12 hours for them to call in backup from other communities. Understand this, okay? And on average, it's going to take them quite some time to show up on the scene because they're busy doing other things in a town of 178,000 fucking people. So if you come to a small town like mine to do dumb shit like this, in Florida, everybody is open carrying in Florida anywhere they go. And we have the dueling law, the stand your ground law, the SB1 speed bump law. Understand, we have laws against all of you terrorists. We have laws against you impeding traffic. If you impede traffic in the state, we can legally run you over here. Understand that and not get in any trouble whatsoever for it. Everybody in Florida has a dash cam on their car, just so you know. Because people that come from up north don't know how to drive in the city and wreck us all the time. And like I said, people have the right to defend somebody else's property in the state of Florida as well. We don't just have the right to defend our property. We have the right to defend any public property in the state of Florida. So understand that. When you come here, keep it peaceful or we won't be peaceful. Okay? You have the right to come here and protest on the side of the road without getting violent. But Antifa members, you no longer have the legal right to get out here in the streets. Understand that. And we are not going to allow you to come to our towns and espouse your Antifa bullshit. It's not going to happen. We're going to expose you every time, and it's going to get dealt with, we promise. Terrorists don't have the right to get out here and espouse and organize other terrorism. You don't have that right. I want you to understand that. That's not a constitutional right you have. And I want you, if you don't believe me, go listen to your Chicago police chief that's no longer backing you. He said the same thing. You don't have a legal right to impede traffic, to surround people, or any of that stuff. Now in Chicago, you people in Chicago, just so you know, your own police captain announced today, you guys have the right to defend yourselves now. They won't stop you from defending yourselves. They will stop Antifa from attacking you now. That's the new Chicago standard as of today. So be safe out there, everybody. Practice your God-given constitutional rights and keep yourself safe. Okay?
When Democrat mayors had a kind of a hands-off approach with these left-wing militants. Just as a quick reminder for everybody, we're talking about dozens of murders that happened in those riots. We're talking about billions of dollars of damage to property and communities all over the country. We're talking about thousands of officer injuries. So this isn't just like some little thing that they're, you know, oh, they punch a journalist here and there. No, they're responsible for a lot of damage and a lot of people that have, you know, unfortunately died and basically suppressing people's voices, you know. And so what I did want to talk about is to get this footage, almost every single person in the room here, to get this footage, you have to go undercover because you are at risk of being beaten or worse. You have to go undercover. You have to film low key to capture them committing crimes. This is stuff that the mainstream media was not doing and has not been doing. They'll show when Antifa is maybe, it's a little bit more peaceful, and they'll show when it's more mellow, but they'll remove the cameras when things get violent and it's actually dangerous to be here. And I have personally witnessed legacy media vans showing up at a riot 300 yards away, getting out of the vehicle, filming for 30 seconds, saying something like, you know, fiery but mostly peaceful, packing up. And to add insult to injury, you have Democrat politicians that are saying it's just an idea, right? That's all this is. So it's just an idea. After all of this chaos, it's just an idea. Well, that idea has threatened to kill me and many of my friends that are here today. So, Mr. President, thank you so much for bringing this to the forefront. And it's definitely making a big change. Really appreciate you.
One question. So why is it there are numerous groups? I mean, Antifa is terrible, but you have other groups that I guess probably are almost as bad or just as bad. Not one other group was mentioned. I'm sort of surprised at that. You just come into contact with Antifa. It seems to be that you mostly come into contact with Antifa, please.
There's a lot of overlap. And I would say that, for instance, Jonathan brought up the Democratic Socialists of America. They're basically the same thing. I mean, there's a lot of Democratic Socialists of America who are out there in black bloc, you know, hiding their faces. And so I think we use, and I do understand, for the record, I do understand the challenge, as Andy pointed out, with Antifa as a graspable entity. I do. But at the end of the day, when you look at behavior, you prosecute behavior, right? We're not prosecuting ideas or ideology, you're prosecuting behavior. So whether you can prove that this amorphous thing is Antifa or someone has a patch that says Antifa, it doesn't matter. You know, did they assault someone? Did they assault a federal agent? Were they engaged in rioting? What is it? And so they're always using that, oh, well, they don't call themselves Antifa, even though some of them literally do. It's called Rose City Antifa. How long has it been around in Portland, Andy?
Since 2007.
They call themselves Antifa. In Seattle, I was outside the federal building and they were yelling, there's no police here, this is Antifa land. And at the same time, Democrats, like our governor, are, oh, Antifa is an idea. But yeah, I think Antifa can overlap with a lot of other entities and organizations.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
You know, President Trump, I just want to add this real quick because you were asking which mainstream media outlet is the worst. What I think, it's any of them that decided to call Kilmar Abrego Garcia Maryland Dad. Because when I'm out there on the street talking to these people, you know, they call Maryland Dad is this human, he's actually a human trafficking MS-13 gang member that's illegally in the country. But the amount of people on the street that I spoke with that thought that he was a U.S. citizen that was being deported to Uganda is dangerous. These people genuinely believe, based on what comes out of the garbage standing over here, that you guys are deporting U.S. citizens. So
you have a governor like Pritzker in Chicago, Illinois, which is in a lot of trouble. Chicago's there. You know, potentially great city again. It's not great now, but it could be great again. That's why we have to get there soon, because eventually you can't do that. What makes a man like that say that things are wonderful? Why doesn't he say We love that President Trump is going to come and help us clean up Chicago and make it safe again, as opposed to fighting us and pretending that there weren't 50 murders and 200 shootings and all of that. Why is that? Go ahead, Nick.
Despite you. Despite the administration. That's simply what it's about at this point. Because, if you go and talk to some of these citizens, like I'll use Portland as an example again, because I've been there for so long now. You talk to the neighbors that live in the apartments next door to the ICE facility. There are veterans with PTSD that live there, and they're here all night long, screaming, fireworks being lit off by these rioters, children crying, because they, can't sleep at night and they're scared of all the noise outside, and they can't leave. They got a lease. You can't just leave. These people aren't wealthy individuals. And that's one of the major problems here. These people are afraid to come out and speak out.
Okay, Berserker Patriots, I have to get ready for my regularly scheduled live at 7:30 tonight. And they're going to keep going through now. It's the end of the press conference. So, listen, I love you guys. I'll be out here every day. We're building the channel. Thank you for how fast we're building the channel this time. Normally it takes months to get followers. We've September 13th to now, we're back up to 5,000 followers as of after tonight's live, with the way I've been getting follows. And just keep in mind, this is all just from my lives. I don't really post a lot of shorts or videos anymore. All the views that I'm posting in my post, every single one of those views are just from my lives in the past 3 weeks. So it's easier to just clip this stuff. I'm going to make all the clips that come out of this unprivate soon. I just want to make sure I'm not going to get struck down from some of the stuff, because YouTube automatically does those highlights. I don't do that. That's an automatic feature with the partner program. Every 20 minutes, it'll do a clip when it hears certain words. So, yeah, I love you guys. Have a blessed next few hours before I go live again. And just remember, any support we receive here is going into rallies and going to do change minds on campuses and in parks and all kinds of different places. Going to any of these Antifa rallies. Oh, October 18th is the next Antifa rally we're going to. So, October 18th, it'll be down here in Southwest Florida. They've got them all over Southwest Florida. It's a No Kings rally, but it's advertised as No Kings. But when you go to the website for the Democrat headquarters, it says whatever your cause is. If you're on the Democrat side, come. So I'll post that too. I'll post all their shit, that how you can hear the rhetoric of how they talk on their websites and stuff like that, and read it for yourselves. So I love you guys. Have a blessed day. Be safe out here. Oh, I got to go get something to eat. I'm fucking starving.